In a quiet town in Nigeria, surrounded by thick forests and red earth roads, lived a man named Chike. He was respected by many, a successful businessman, a devoted husband, and a father to 2 young boys. To the world, he was perfect. Handsome, wealthy, charming. But Chike had a weakness. Women. He was the kind of man who believed in keeping secrets, the type who thought he could have everything without consequences. His wife, Ada, was a quiet woman. Beautiful, soft-spoken, and fiercely devoted. She cooked his meals, washed his clothes, and never asked questions. She never raised her voice, never argued when he came home late. People whispered about her. They said there was something strange about her. Her eyes, too knowing, too deep. Chike didn't care. He had his fun. Different women, different places. As long as he returned home with gifts and smiles, he believed everything was fine. But Ada knew. She always knew. One day, Chike met someone new. A woman who made his heart race. Young, curvy, with a voice like soft music. Her name was Busy. Unlike the others, she wasn't just a fling. Chike wanted more. He wanted to escape with her, to create a secret life where only pleasure mattered. So he started staying out late. Business trip, he'd say. Traffic held me up. I fell asleep at the office. Ada never argued. She just smiled and said, "Okay, my husband." But something was different. When Chike kissed her goodbye, her skin felt colder. When he ate her food, it tasted different, bitter, almost metallic. The house smelled of burning herbs at odd hours, and at night, he swore he heard whispers in the dark. Still, he ignored it. He was in too deep. Chike had planned a secret weekend trip with Busy. A small hotel at the edge of town, where no one would recognize them. That night, as he packed his bag, Ada watched from the doorway. "You're traveling again?" she asked. "Yes," Chike answered without looking at her. She smiled. "Safe journey, my love." Those were the last words she ever said to him. Chike and Busy arrived at the hotel, ready for their escape. The air was thick with desire, the night warm with promise. They drank, they laughed, they touched. But as the night deepened, something felt off. The air was heavy. Too heavy. The room too dark. The walls too silent. And then, Busy screamed. Her body arched, her eyes rolled back, and she collapsed onto the floor, shaking violently. Chike panicked. He tried to grab her, to hold her still. But the moment he touched her, a burning pain shot through his hands. He stumbled back, gasping. And then he saw it. Busy's face was changing. Her smooth skin cracked like dry earth. Her hair thinned and fell out in clumps. Her once beautiful lips stretched into an ugly, white grin. And when she opened her mouth to speak, it wasn't her voice. It was Ada's. "My husband, where are you running to?" Chike ran. Barefoot, naked, screaming, he burst out of the hotel and into the dark forest beyond. He ran until his legs failed him. He collapsed, shaking, his breath ragged. The night was silent. Except for the sound of footsteps. Soft. Slow. Coming closer. Chike turned, his body frozen in terror. Ada stood there, smiling. Her wrapper tied neatly, her hands folded in front of her. Calm. Patient. As if she had been waiting. And then, darkness. They found Chike at sunrise. Naked, covered in mud, eyes blank. Mumbling strange words no one could understand. He rocked back and forth, whispering, crying, laughing. The only thing he said clearly was his wife's name, but Ada. Ada was at home. Cooking. Singing. Smiling. When they told her about her husband, she only nodded and said, "Oh. He must have seen something in his dreams." She never spoke of it again. And neither did anyone else. After the incident, rumors spread. Some said Ada had consulted the old woman by the river, the one who spoke to spirits. Others swore she had the blood of ancient priestesses, women who never lost what belonged to them. No one dared ask her. No one dared look too long into her eyes. Chike never recovered. He sat in the village square, rocking back and forth, whispering to himself. They sent him to churches, to native doctors, to hospitals. Nothing worked. One evening, under the glow of the setting sun, Ada visited him. She knelt beside him, stroked his face, and whispered, "I told you, my love. I always know." Chike let out a choked sob. A deep, raw sound of terror. And for the first time in months, he spoke clearly. "Forgive me, Ada. Please." She kissed his forehead and stood up. "Some things can never be undone, my husband." And then she walked away, never looking back. Chike screamed. The sound echoed through the village, chilling everyone who heard it. From that night on, he never spoke again. And Ada, she kept living, cooking, smiling, thriving. Some say she was just a patient wife who had endured too much. Others knew better. And no man in the village ever dared to cheat again.